IssueLab is the same thing. They effectively archive, distribute, and promote the extensive and diverse body of research being produced by the nonprofit sector. There are billions of charitable dollars spent on nonprofit research to determine the impact. Most nonprofit research remains unavailable. So the idea behind IssueLab is a site to share research assets. Because typically a nonprofit will do, a local XYZ nonprofit does some research to determine the housing availability for a specific zip code. Okay, and they're going to, they'll do that research. They'll use that research when applying for grants. They'll use that research in figuring out how to develop programs and whatnot. Now, that research can technically be very beneficial to, say, an agency that provides utility relief, right? But being that this was an internal research project done by XYZ nonprofit, that this information will probably never be available to the agency that's looking to develop some sort of utility relief program. IssueLab comes and solves that problem. IssueLab comes and gets agencies to collaborate specifically on sharing research assets. And that helps eliminate the billions of charitable dollars that are spent on nonprofit research, specifically when trying to determine the impact. And then again, IssueLab has joined forces with IdeaNcore to build up that library of resources that IdeaNcore would like to provide to all the agencies that join them. So the bottom line is that collaborations come in all shapes and sizes, right? We see some. Here we had two examples of sharing. Let's call them soft resources, right? Let's call them a research assets, or sample contracts, sample grant applications, sample reports. Right, so these are so this is, let's just say, a soft collaboration, right? But then again, you have agencies actually going out and putting money in. Both of them putting in, let's say, 50% of the funds that it requires to develop some sort of housing program to solve some housing crisis, right? So they can be deeper, they can be more technical, but they can be softer as well. Let's take a look at children's cabinets. Okay, the problem was that different disciplines didn't connect, and service coordination typically fell to overburdened families. So the goal of creating children's cabinets were to better align state and local services. The solution was that the Child and Youth Readiness Cabinet the Massachusetts leadership team, which included the Department of Education, the Health and Human Services, Housing, Labor, Workforce, and Public Safety, they all focused on streamlining state efforts to improve services. So here's an example of, say, 6 or 7 different agencies focused on 6 or 7 completely different aspects of some of the social services needs that'll come up throughout a person's lifetime, right? They're focusing on relieving the overburdened families of all the work that's involved to develop programs, to assist their children, whatever issues they might be facing. So their goal was to align all the state and local services to assist those families. That instead of the family running from agency to agency to agency, they have one local address to go to, and all the services are streamlined, and everybody knows what's happening with each program or service. Another example is communities for all ages. There was a problem. Okay, let's just take this as an example. There's example problem. There's siloed interest in facing community challenges, which often result in the lack of consideration of the aging in creating healthy communities. The goal was to address critical community issues from a multi-generational perspective and promote well-being of all age groups. The solution was to develop diverse alliances by engaging community residents of all ages and to create places, practices, and policies that promote interaction. Here again, this is an example of agencies that are focused on different age groups, developing diverse alliances to be able to assist multi-generational social service needs. Now, how do we create successful collaborations? What does it take? So strong collaborations are hinged on the following. Number one is chemistry. Number two is compatibility. And number three is timing. Chemistry would typically involve the let's just say the organizational culture. Okay, compatibility would typically involve the both agencies' focus, both agencies what their outcome, what they're trying to achieve, what their goals are, and timing is exactly what it sounds like. The timing has to be right. So we need to ask ourselves, is it a good culture or people match? If the agencies are two completely different cultures, for example, if one agency is strictly results driven while the other agency is strictly, let's say, customer service driven, can those two cultures be matched? Number two, are the goals aligned? Are both agencies trying to achieve more or less the same goals? Number three, what's the win-win? How do both agencies benefit from this? Number four, is there any quality in the relationship? Or is this more of a hierarchical relationship? Number 5 is the timing right. And number 6 is the right attitude inherent in both agencies' cultures. Now, all collaborations typically start with common ground and common needs. If we have 5 agencies, who are their clients, their markets, and their audience? What services are provided? What technology is available to provide those services? What technology is needed to provide those services? Marketing. What kind of marketing is needed? What kind of marketing is available? Funders. Who is sponsoring these programs? Who can sponsor these programs? Money. How much is available? And relationships. What kind of relationships are inherent between all the agencies that we're considering? These are typically the common ground / common needs that underline every collaboration. Again, we would want to look at the clients, markets, and audiences that the agencies are targeting, the services that are available / the agencies are looking to provide, what kind of technology is available or what kind of technology is needed to provide those services, what kind of marketing is available and what kind of marketing is needed to provide those services. What kind of funders are available, what kind of funders are needed, how much money is available, and what kind of relationships are inherent in all the potential partners. Another important component to a successful collaboration is the right attitude. The focus has to be on legacy, discernment, and scarcity. It can't be on destiny, judgment, and abundance.